Welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast, where we discuss all things empowering, encouraging and inspiring. My name is Yvonne Ellis. I'm an empowerment speaker, author, coach, trainer and founder of Yumi Empowerment, a company that facilitates the empowerment of people. I help people to make positive life change, live in their purpose and develop into their best version of self. I share stories, interviews, spiritual encouragement and actionable tips to empower, encourage and inspire you to live the life you want. So if you want to live the empowered life, join me each week on my podcast so we can take the journey together. Hello Empowered Lifers, welcome to episode 26 of Living the Empowered Life podcast. Hope that you are all doing well today. If you are a new listener, thank you for taking your time to listen in. I hope that this episode is something of value to you, will bring value to your life in some way, shape or form. And to my continued listeners, thank you for your support. I really do appreciate you. It really does mean a lot that you take your time out every other week to listen to these episodes. And before I get into the episode today, I just want to let you know that my new book, my third book, is coming out the week of the 22nd of November. I haven't announced it on social media yet, just because I have been really busy with work, and that is always a good thing. I have a huge event coming up on Friday the 19th, so I haven't really been posting or tweeting or doing anything like that because I really have to focus on what I've been doing. But once I get this event out the way, I will be sharing a lot more posts about my new book, and I'm really excited to be able to share it with you. My family are excited about the release of my new book. You know, this book for me is really kind of a transitional book. It is really about helping people in the area of personal growth and motivation and all those good things. So please do turn on your notifications on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Stitcher. You can press the follow or subscribe button so that you won't miss any of the bi-weekly uploads. It will notify you to tell you that, a new episode has been uploaded, because in the next episode I am going to talk to you about my book, things to do with my book, things about my book. I'm really excited to share that episode with you. So please don't forget, turn on your notifications, hit the follow or subscribe button for this podcast. So today I have a question for you. Are you the type of person that does just enough to get by? Or are you the type of person who likes to do things well, more than expected, and to a high standard? Take a second to think about that question. It's probably not a question you've really thought about before, because in this episode, I want to talk to you about what it means to be exceptional, not expected. Because I believe everyone should aspire to be exceptional in life. That is the way I've always been. Even in the times when I couldn't manage much, because I was going through lots of different things, and even if it was only one thing that I could do, I would make sure it was done well and to a high standard. Because for me, that is my hallmark. And you won't find me putting myself, my name, my business endeavors to anything that is done mediocre or half-hearted. As a person anyway, I'm really not like that. And I've never been like that. Even in the times when I believed I was like that I couldn't even achieve much, the evidence was in the way that I did things and how I carried myself. For me, one of the things I do believe is that to be exceptional, it is an important part of living the empowered life. And you will find that one of the things that sets people apart that are living an empowered life is because of the way that they do things. They do things of quality. They do things to a high standard. Things that no one else around them is doing, because it's a different level from expected to exceptional. To be exceptional requires you to push past your inner and outer boundaries. To be expected really is just to stay within the confines of what you've always been doing, to remain at the same level in life. You never push yourself, and others know the level of your limitations. Because to stay at an expected level is to set disappointment for yourself. because you never stretch yourself to break out. It's like holding yourself back. It's about not challenging yourself to discover yourself. And you know what? I believe you should always have an element of surprise about yourself, even surprising yourself about yourself. When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you thought to yourself, oh, I didn't think I could do that. Oh, wow, I did that better than expected. You should always have an element of surprise about yourself. And I believe as well that no one should see you coming. And by that, I mean be able to predict your actions, decisions, your choices or outcomes of the things that you can do. And you know what? I say this to my 15-year-old daughter all the time. Be exceptional, not expected. I say this to her all the time about how she carries herself, her school grades, doing more than what's required of her, and encouraging her to explore her potential. I tell her, always aim to be exceptional. Don't let your teachers or those around you believe they know exactly what you are capable of. And it's the same thing I'm saying to you. If you're somebody who always operates at a level of expected and never exceptional, don't let those around you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, acquaintances, even your own doubts or self-limiting thoughts dictate to you what you are capable of. Don't allow others to limit you with their expectations. So with all that being said, what really is the difference between being exceptional and expected? Maybe it's not something, as I said, that you've thought about, or maybe that you even know. But to be expected means people have a preconceived notion of what they believe is the most you can do. To be exceptional means you exceed their expectations and estimation. You cast off your own constraints and push yourself to achieve excellence in all you do, doing things to a high standard. I think it was even last week, I released a quote about casting off limitations, challenges and barriers, because in doing that, you will surprise yourself with what you can do. And if you want more inspirational quotes or motivational things, go and follow me over on Instagram. My Instagram is Yemi Empowerment, YEME_empowerment. You may also be thinking, why should being exceptional and not expected even matter? I believe it does matter because you should want to have high standards and expectations for yourself. It's about your personal growth. It's about striving to be the very best you can be. It's really not about other people, even though it's reflected in the things that you do. It's really about having a high standard for yourself in how you operate in life, how you go through life, how you do the things that you're doing in your life. So I want to share with you some indicators of how you will know that you're operating at an exceptional level and not an expected level. The first thing I want to share with you is that people can't second guess you or what you do and are surprised when you do something they didn't expect. The second thing I want to share with you is that you aim to be more than average, and that is evidenced in the way that you do things. The next thing I want to share with you is that you have high standards for you, your life, and desire quality in every area. Also, you exceed other people's estimations of you and your abilities, and you do more than is required of you, not because of people, but because you have high standards. And the reason why I've put this list together is because I do all these things. Why? Because I understood from a young age, especially coming from a dysfunctional and disadvantaged background, that hard work, doing things outside the box to a high standard and going the extra mile would separate me from other people. When targets were 5, I would aim for 7, 8, 9. I would do and give more than what was required because I wanted to be my best. And now it's just part of my character. It's my thing, my trademark, my personal standard. Because everyone can be expected, but very few can be exceptional. And you know why? Because a lot of people don't want to put in the hard work, effort and sacrifice it takes to be it. So if you want to take your life up a level from being expected to exceptional, one of the things I would recommend is to be diligent. Be very conscientious in the way that you do things. Pay attention to detail. Do things right and do things well. Find something that sets you apart from others and develop and master it. You know the saying, being a jack of all trades and a master of none, is very, very true. Do one thing well and focus on that one thing. The next thing I want to share with you is to set standards for your life, all things that entails, you as a person, your work, your business if you have one. Take time to sit down and think about these things. What are the standards that you are operating by? If you haven't thought about that before, maybe it's the time to think about that now. And lastly, consistently set yourself new challenges and stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. This is one type of thing or one habit I believe will help you to take your life from being expected to exceptional. Don't just do what is required of you. Do something that is not required of you. Do something different or better. Do something that requires you to push harder. These things are the things that help you to develop into an exceptional person. So that is my challenge for you this week. That you set yourself the challenge to up your game and up your levels in life. Think about one thing that you can just focus on for now and up your game in that area. I want you to think about that one area of your life, that one thing that you are going to push past your limitations in that area. So before I get into the Bible scripture, I just want to share with you just a little quote I came across by an author called Jordan Rayner. His new book is called Master of One. He says the idea of being described as mediocre, master of none, should make us as Christians sick to our stomachs. Why? Because mediocre work fails to accomplish the essence of the Christian life, to serve others and to glorify God. Now, you may not be a Christian, but in life, you should aim in everything that you do to be somebody who desires to operate at an exceptional level. As a Christian, this is one of the things that is evident throughout God's word, throughout the Bible, that God is a God of excellence. Whoever was doing things in the Bible in the glory of his name was always doing things to a high standard, to an excellent standard. And, there's a scripture that says in the Bible about, work as if you're working unto the Lord. And I take that very seriously as a Christian, because I want to make sure that anything I'm doing is bringing glory to God's name through the hallmark of how I do things, through the standard of my work. So the Bible scripture I want to share with you this week comes from Daniel chapter 6 verse 3, and it says, "Now Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators and the satraps by his exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the kingdom." Now, just from that, you can see that because he distinguished himself, did things in a way that other people weren't doing things, the king in that time noticed his work, noticed how he was as a person, and saw those qualities in him and planned to make him ruler over all. The whole book of Daniel actually is a great example of how Christians, and even if you're not a Christian, or you just desire to be exceptional, not expected, basically it's a great example about the need to be set apart from the norms of our society. Daniel was exceptional at what he did, and others took note of that. We should be following Daniel's example and strive to be the best we can be in life, in our industries, in the things that we're doing. As I mentioned before, not many people desire to be exceptional, but anyone can be expected. And my encouragement to you today is to have that desire to want to be exceptional in life, as a person, in everything you do. So before I finish the episode, if you are somebody that is finding certain challenges that you're facing in your life difficult, and you would like support in being able to explore why those challenges are difficult and coming up with solutions on how to move past them, please do visit my empowerment coaching page. I will leave a link to it in the show notes below. I am a professional certified empowerment coach, and I coach clients and help clients to live an empowered life. We look at things together. We work in collaborative partnership to be able to move the client past their current difficulties. It could be things that have hindered them from before, and some of them have just decided, I want to now move past this, and I recognize I need some support to be able to do that. Please do visit my empowerment coach page. As I said, I'll leave a link to it in the show notes below. Also, I will leave a link to my online course, the Courage course, which is a course that helps people to go after their goals and dreams by providing an action plan to help them. In that course as well, I discuss all things about courage, and the course has received very good feedback from those that have taken it. So please also do check that out. So that is it for today. I will see you on the next episode. Take care.